Hi everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about the accounting concepts. In my previous class, I have shown you the list of your accounting concepts that we are going to study. This is the list of the total accounting concepts, the basic accounting concepts that are required for us to study, right? Now, with that business entity concept, we have already cleared it yesterday, and from today onwards, we have to focus on the other concepts like money measurement, going concern, cost, dual aspect, etc. etc. Yesterday, I remember that I had started talking about your money measurement concept. So, under money measurement concept, we did talk about that all such transactions will be recorded into your financial statements those have any impact in terms of money. For example, just understand that if a manager has been appointed, ठीक है, right? Now the manager is working and his conduct is having some problems. He is not an efficient employee, ठीक है? The peers also complain that he does not works properly. Now with this particular kind of statement, I do not know that what is the value of such behavior in monetary terms. मुझे नहीं पता कि उसके इस behavior का money terms में क्या impact है. So I cannot record such transaction. Fine. Example number 1. Example number 2, consider that because of the careless behavior of this particular manager, my stock has catched fire and now I have 30,000 worth of stock is gone for a toss. There is a total loss into it. Now I know because of his careless behavior, I have lost 30,000 rupees in my stock. So this transaction now is having certain monetary value, certain monetary consideration, and hence I should record this into my financial statements, right? So this is what money measurement concept talks about. One question on this particular concept we have already seen in the UPSC EPFO examination. Okay? When we were discussing about the previous year question in those lectures, one of those lectures we have discussed about this as well. Now let's see what our theory says. So the concept of money measurement says that only those transactions and happenings which can be expressed in terms of money, like sale of goods, payment of expenses, all such things can be expressed in terms of money. So such transactions should be recorded in books of accounts. ठीक है? All such transactions or happenings which cannot be expressed in monetary terms. Now please focus on the examples. The questions can directly be built up from your examples only. So जो भी examples यहाँ पे दिए जा रहे हैं, please have a look on to it. Now see over here. So for example, the appointment of a manager, capabilities of its human resource, or creativity of research department, all of this is a non-monetary transactions. ठीक है? We do not know that okay if our research department is very creative, ठीक है? In past they have done very useful kind of works, but I cannot measure it in terms of money in today's value. Hence it will be not taken into my financial statements. बहुत सिंपल सी बात है, जो भी चीज आप पैसे में वर्थ कर सकते हो, रुपए में वर्थ कर सकते हो, सिर्फ उसी चीज को आप फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में लेके जाओगे. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मनी मेजरमेंट. राइट नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द next thing, and also just a small concept over here. Suppose I have 4 buildings, ठीक है? I have 4 buildings. And the total worth of these 4 buildings is, let's say, 5 crores. Total worth of all 4 buildings is 5 crores. So the point to be noted over here is that in financial statements, this 4 building, the number of 4, it will not be shown upfront. Only buildings will be shown. ठीक है? ये 4 buildings नहीं दिखाई जाएंगी. This can be shown at the time of your preparation of footnotes but not in the financial statements. Balance sheet में सिर्फ buildings का column रहेगा, there will be the column of building only and in front of that 5 crore will be written. ठीक, this is how we will be recording. So कहा जा रहा है कि money measurement means every asset, every liability will be recorded in its money's worth. Right? Correct? So this is what the another important concept of money measurement is, that records of the transactions are to be kept not in physical units. Physical units 4 हैं, 5 हैं, 10 हैं, कितने हैं? Like I have stock, inventory. I have 100 items of inventory, but I want to find its value in money's term. Fine. So this is the case over here. Next is the concept of going concern. Going concern concept is an easy concept, quite used concept you can say, and most of the people are aware about it. So what is the going concern concept? Going concern concept says that whenever I am preparing financial statements for my business, ठीक है, जब भी मैं अपने business के लिए financial statements prepare करती हूँ, there is an assumption in my mind. There is an assumption in my mind that my business is going to continue for the foreseeable future. जितना मैं आगे फ्यूचर देख सकती हूँ उतने में मुझे पता है कि मेरा बिजनेस आगे कंटिन्यू रहेगा. There are no conditions, there are no situations which is indicating that I might have to close my business. There is nothing like that. And if, understand this, अगर ऐसा कुछ हो जाता है, suppose करो you were having one factory and that one factory is destroyed by fire. तो जिस चीज के लिए बिजनेस कर रहे थे फैक्ट्री के लिए, वो फैक्ट्री ही नहीं रही. द थिंग फॉर विच वी वर डूइंग द बिजनेस, दैट द फैक्ट्री, नाउ द फैक्ट्री इटसेल्फ इज नॉट देयर, सो I know that my business is almost finished, right? There are serious questions on my going concern assumption. So I have to disclose such informations as well. ठीक है? If in some year you think like your going concern assumption is not holding true, there are situations because of that you might close your business, so you have to make a proper disclosure of that particular situation. ठीक है? So now let's see what is going concern concept. The concept of going concern assumes that business firm will carry out its operation indefinitely. Indefinitely मतलब आने वाला साल, उसके अगला साल, उसका अगला साल, हर साल they will continue for a fairly long period of time and would not be liquidated in the foreseeable future. So this is the concept of going concern. It is an important assumption of the accounting because it provides the very basis for showing the value of assets in the balance sheet. Now I'll tell you how. Suppose I have purchased a machinery. ठीक है? I have purchased a machinery for 1 lakh rupees and the lifetime of this machinery is 5 years. Now, how do I show this particular item into my financial statements? I show this as an asset. कि हाँ जी, this is my asset. I will be using it for next 5 years. And that is why we charge depreciation. Every year I charge depreciation. Okay. So what assumption I am making over here? Assumption is that yes, I will be able to use the asset for next 5 years. For next 5 years, my business is going to remain continued. Okay, this is the assumption. Now suppose if we would have made the assumption कि नहीं, we will not be continuing for a longer period of time. Just the next year, we have to close down the business. If you are thinking like just the next year you have to close down the business, in that particular case this machinery will not be taken as an asset and it will be charged to the P&L. So that is why the concept of going concern, it is very much important. Because of this we are able to assume that my business is going to continue for a very long period of time, and I record my assets as an asset for a period of 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or whatever might be the time. ठीक है? This is what they are telling over here. See, for example, when an asset is purchased, it is taken to balance sheet and depreciation is charged onto it. It is not charged to revenue completely in the first year itself. That means I am not taking it as an expense in the first year itself. I am not charging total 1 lakh rupees in just 1 year. I am not debiting it. ठीक है? I am considering that I will be using this asset for a longer period of time, and that is why I have taken it to balance sheet and I'll be charging depreciation year by year. Okay, now the next is accounting period concept. First of all, we all know that the business entities, they prepare accounts for a period of 1 year. That means from 1st April to 31st March. Okay. Now I have a question. See, on 31st March, we do not close the business, right? We don't. The business continues. So why we are finding the profit at every year end? Why? The business is continuing. We can just see that, okay, what is the daily profit I am earning, and that might be enough. क्या जरूरत है हर साल बैलेंस शीट पी एंड एल बनाने की? What is the need of preparing balance sheet and P&L every year? So understand, this concept is relating to accounting period concept. Accounting period concept कहता है कि आपको एक फ्रीक्वेंट इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम में अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाने चाहिए. Fine. So that your stakeholders can come to know that what is actual position of your business. Correct? So that's what I was telling you, that under the accounting period concept, it is being said that you should decide a period, and at that particular frequent period, what you should do is you should find out that what is your financial position, what is your profit, what is your balance sheet, etc., etc., because it helps the stakeholders to understand that what is your financial position. See, I am teaching out this material to you, so yes, this material is available for you. You can just see over here. So accounting period refers to the span of time at the end of which financial statements of an enterprises are prepared. Fine. To know whether it has earned profits or incurred losses during that particular period. What exactly is the position of its assets and liabilities at the end of this period? Financial statements are therefore prepared at regular interval. So this is the concept. Now, because of this particular concept, we have the legislations as well. So your Companies Act 2013, earlier it was Companies Act 1956, as well as your Income Tax Act. Correct? Companies Act, Income Tax Act, they say that you should prepare your financial statements annually. Annually prepare karo financial statements. Tell us what is the profit and loss. Tell us what is your balance sheet, etc. File it with us and we are going to see your financial performance. So this is called as accounting period concept. I repeat it once again. Accounting period concept says that you should prepare your financial statements as well as reports at a regular frequency. कॉन्सेप्ट तो सिर्फ इतना ही कहता है कि रेगुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी पे प्रिपेयर करो, बट हम ईयरली क्यों प्रिपेयर करते हैं? बिकॉज इट इज गिवन इन आवर लेजिस्लेशंस, कंपनीज एक्ट एज वेल एज द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट. Okay, now the next concept that we have is cost concept. What cost concept says to you is, suppose I brought this particular pen. This particular pen, I have paid 1000 rupees to the supplier in order to purchase this pen. Okay? Now this is what? This is cost price. Cost price is what? Which has gone out of my pocket. ठीक है, मैंने इसको पे किया है. next day someone tells me that the market price of this particular pen is 1200 rupees. So at what price I should record this particular pen into my books? This is the question. Whether at 1200 or whether at 1000 rupees. So the cost concept says that you should record your assets into your books on the basis of cost incurred. Market price नहीं लिया जाता. कुछ assets हैं like your inventory where it is taken, but वहां पर भी एक concept है that we follow. In case of inventory also you might have seen accounting standard 2. Accounting standard 2 says that record your inventory at cost or NRV, that means your net realizable value, or you can consider it as a market value also, whichever is less. Correct? So अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 2 कहता है कि आप अपना कॉस्ट देखिए इन्वेंट्री का, फिर मार्केट देखिए और उसके बाद में डिसाइड कीजिए विच एवर इज लोअर प्लीज एंटर इनटू द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. आई सेड व्हाई. कॉस्ट कॉन्सेप्ट तो कहता है कि आपको कॉस्ट पे रिकॉर्ड करना चाहिए. इट इज बीइंग सेड बाय द कॉस्ट कॉन्सेप्ट दैट यू शुड रिकॉर्ड इट एट कॉस्ट. So here comes the another concept that we are going to see later on, and we'll be discussing about that as well. Now first understand the cost concept. Cost concept requires that all assets should be recorded in the books of accounts at their purchase price, which includes cost of acquisition, transportation, installation and making the asset ready to use. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे एक मशीनरी का एग्जाम्पल लिया हुआ है. आई विल गिव यू दैट. Suppose I have brought a machinery for 50 lakh rupees. Okay, fine. Now, in case of some machineries, this is not the case that you just brought the machinery and start using it. That does not happen. Fine. Some machineries need installation. They need installation. They need labor support, right? They need the making of concrete base for their installation, and there are so many things. So it is being said by your accounting standards also that whatever expense you are incurring on an asset till the date asset is not ready to use, उस दिन तक के सारे खर्चे you have to include in cost of asset. Suppose I bought the asset on 1st of May 50 लाख के, और इसके बाद मैंने 1 लाख ऊपर से और खर्चा किया टू मेक दैट असेट रेडी टू यूज. फाइन. इंस्टॉलेशन, लेबर एटसेट्रा, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, सो टू मेनी एक्सपेंसेस वर देयर. ऑन 1st June the asset was ready to use. On 1st of June the asset was ready to use. Now you see all the expenses that I have incurred between a period of 1st May to 1st June, they all will go to the cost of asset. P&L में खर्चा नहीं जाएगा. No expense of this time period will go to P&L. No expense. All of such expense will be added into the cost of asset. ठीक है. Now let's see the example. The example will make the concept more clear. So for example, an old plant was purchased for 50 lakh rupees, which is into the business of manufacturing detergent powder. An amount of 10,000 was spent on transporting the plant to the factory site. Okay. Next, in addition, 15,000 was spent on repairs for bringing the plant into a running position and 25,000 on its installation. The total amount at which plant will be recorded is taken as 50 lakh 50,000. So there are two concepts into it. First of all, whatever you have incurred into cash, record that into your financial statement. And what is the concept number 2? Concept number 2 says that all the expenses, also this comes under the accounting standard, all the expenses that you have incurred till the date asset is ready to use, उस दिन तक के सारे खर्चे you have to take into the cost of asset. It is called as capitalization of cost. Understanding my point? Now the concept of cost is historical in nature and it is something which has been paid on the date of acquisition and it does not changes year on year. So if I have purchased a building for 2.5 crores, then that value will be recorded into my balance sheet. This is not going to change. 2.5 crore will remain as it is. Okay? So this is called as the cost concept. Now moving to the next concept that we have, dual aspect concept. Dual aspect concept. Now what is this dual aspect concept? If you know even little bit of accounts, you must be knowing that whenever any transaction happens, we pass a journal entry. ठीक है, हम एक journal entry pass करते हैं. For example, if I have purchased a machinery, then what entry I am going to pass? I will be passing the entry like this: machinery account debit. Those people who do not understand the meaning of debit and credit, please do not worry, I will be covering that as well. This is the entry I pass. ठीक? Machine account debit to cash account. Why? Because I am having one asset is coming to me, that is machinery, but my cash is reducing. Obviously अगर मशीनरी लोगे तो पैसा तो देना पड़ेगा ना. ठीक है, सो एक असेट तो इंक्रीज हो रही है बट दूसरी असेट कम हो रही है. नाउ यू सी इन दिस ट्रांजैक्शन, one transaction is impacting at least two accounts. Fine, there is an impact. So this is called as the dual concept. Because of this dual concept, our trial balances match. Our balance sheet matches. The both sides of the balance sheets are equal. The both sides of the trial balance are equal. Fine. So this is why they are equal, because they follow the dual, because in preparation of accounts, we follow the duality concept. Now let's see what is duality concept. It is a foundation or basic principle of accounting. It provides the very basis for recording business transactions into the books of accounts. This concept says that every transaction has a dual or two effect and should therefore be recorded at two places. Like I have said, purchase of machinery is recorded at two places. Number one, machinery, and the other one is the cash. Take. Next is, in other words, the least two transactions will be involved in recording a transaction. This can be explained with the help of example. Like Ram started a business by investing sum of 50 lakh. The amount of money brought in by the Ram will result in increase of assets of business by the 50 lakhs. ये तो कल ही हमने समझ लिया था. If you are bringing in capital of 50 lakhs, that means there is an increase in asset as well. Now I have a question to you guys. Please answer me. Is it compulsory that in a transaction only two accounts will be impacted? Just two. Can it be three accounts or four accounts? Can it be like this or no? Just two accounts will be impacted. What is your answer onto it? What do you think about it? That in a transaction where only just two accounts will be impacted, or it can also happen that three accounts might be impacted or four accounts might be impacted. What do you think about it? Any answers? So these are a little bit things that make the concepts confusing, and the question can come onto this. Just see this very carefully. See what they are saying. At least two accounts will be impacted. कम से कम दो accounts impact होंगे किसी भी transaction में. But more than two accounts can also be impacted. Now see how it can be done. I purchased a machinery. Obviously, the total amount of machinery I cannot pay in cash. So your transaction might look like this: machinery account Debit, I purchased a machinery for 50 lakh rupees. I made the down payment. Fine. And to bank loan. For remaining 45 lakhs, I took a bank loan. Now you see how many accounts got impacted? 3. So duality concept says that at least 2 accounts are impacted in any particular transaction. But देखो यहाँ पे भी my balance sheet will match. One account is debited by 50 lakhs and the 2 accounts are credited for total 50 lakhs. So debit credit balance is same. But the account, number of accounts, 3 accounts can also be impacted. Similarly, 4 accounts can also be impacted. So it is not necessary that only 2 accounts will be impacted. The duality concept says that at least 2 accounts should be impacted in a transaction. So I hope now this is also clear to you. So the duality concept follows this particular equation. You all understand this. Assets are always equal to the liabilities plus capital. Why? Because if I have certain asset, there can be 2 cases. Either it will be out of my own funds or I would have borrowed it. ठीक है, या तो उधार लिया होगा या खुद के फंड्स होंगे, दोनों में से कुछ तो एक चीज होगी. Correct? So this is the concept that is followed by the duality principle. Now we are going to see the next concept that we have for us called as the revenue recognition or realization concept. Revenue recognition का मतलब होता है you have earned some income but when to record that income into your financial statement. What is revenue recognition meaning? It says that yes, you have earned an income, but when you should record this into your books of accounts. So see over here, first understand what is revenue. Okay, this is very important. There is a deep difference between revenue and income. Revenue अलग होता है, income अलग होती है. Revenue is the gross amount that I receive from my customer. So suppose I have a business of making and selling cookies. Now a customer comes, he pays me 100 rupees for a packet of cookies. The 100 rupees which my customer has paid, this will be called as the revenue or sales. ठीक है. अब इस 100 रुपी के कुकी पैकेट को बनाने के लिए I have spent 60 rupees. That is my cost. So revenue minus cost 60 rupees. The remaining 40 rupees is my income. So hence there is a difference between revenue and income. Please understand that as well. Now let's see what is the meaning of revenue. So revenue is the gross inflow of cash. Why such cash is coming to you? Because you have sold some goods or some services and or you have given your resources to some other person from which you are getting interest, royalties and dividends. For example, suppose I have a patent in my name, that is my asset. ठीक है, I have given this asset to use for someone. I have told to other person that you can use my patent and you can do the production. Now the other person is going to pay me the royalty. So that royalty is revenue for me. ठीक, मेरी assets को use करके if someone is generating an income and he is giving me a part of it, that is called as my sales or my revenue. Fine. Now next thing is, secondly, revenue is assumed to be utilized when a legal right to receive arises. So आपको कब अपने books of accounts में record करना है? When you should record into your books of accounts when a legal right arises. Fine. Now the point of time when the goods have been sold or services has been rendered. This is that particular time. Thus the credit sales are treated as revenue on the day sales are made and not when the money is received from the buyer. Now what happens in cash sales? I have sold the goods, the other person has paid me the payment and the transaction is settled. So the revenue recognition will happen on the same day itself. But in case of credit sale, suppose I have sold the goods of 50 lakh rupees and the person says that I will pay you the amount after 2 months. तो मैं कब रिकॉर्ड करूं अपनी बुक्स में? आज की डेट में, whether I should record in today's date the sales or after 2 months when I will be receiving the money. So revenue recognition says that you should record your income into your books on the day when legal right arises. When a legal right to receive arises, at that particular day, account the revenue into your books. So in case of credit sales, the day you have made the sales, person has taken the goods, so legal right has arisen, and now you do not have to wait till the day the person gives you the payment. No need for that. Now exception is also provided. What is the exception of revenue recognition? So this is called as the contract. So in costing we read the contract costing. So suppose you are a contractor and you have received a contract of constructing a bridge. अब bridge तो एक साल में पूरा नहीं हो जाएगा ना. It is going to take some amount of time to get completed. So in this particular case, how should I record my revenue? How should I? Because काम तो अभी पूरा हुआ नहीं है. The work is not yet complete. There is no legal right for me to receive whole payment. So in that case, what we do is we recognize proportionately. Proportionately means whatever work has been complete in 1 year period, that amount of profit I am going to record and that amount of revenue I am going to record into my books. ठीक? Next is the matching concept. You'll just wait for a second. Yes. So what does matching concept says to me? Matching concept says that if in an accounting period you have recorded income, suppose I have recorded that yes, in a present accounting period I have recorded 50 lakhs of sales. So matching concept says that when you have recorded the income, then you should record expense also. In order to do the sales of 50 lakhs, I had to make the purchases of 30 lakhs, right? Direct labor को भी कुछ पैसा देना पड़ा था, let's say 5 lakhs. So these are the expenses that I have incurred to earn this particular revenue. ठीक है? This particular revenue. So in an accounting period, the expenses and incomes should be matching. Matching means जो भी income आपने लिखी है, whatever income you have written, please display that what expense you have incurred to earn that particular income. ठीक है? Suppose I have earned the interest income. Now I have paid commission onto it. Commission or brokerage in order to earn that particular income. So, yes. So, I will be recording my interest income and I will also be recording the commission or brokerage that I have paid. Okay, this is called as the matching concept. The process of ascertaining the amount of profit earned or losses incurred during a particular period, it involves deduction of related expense from the revenue earned during that particular period. The matching concept emphasizes exactly on this particular aspect. What it says, that expenses incurred in an accounting period should be matched with the revenue during that particular period. एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में इनकम और एक्सपेंसेस मैच करने चाहिए. मैचिंग का मतलब क्या? Sales you have done, this is your income, this is your revenue. What expenses you have incurred to earn this particular income, write all the expenses in that accounting period only. Now let me give you an example. Suppose I have done the sales of 50 lakhs. For doing this sales of 50 lakhs, I needed the direct labor for 10 lakh rupees. Now I should record this expense in the current period itself. I cannot do like that okay 7 lakh has been recorded in this period because इनके पैसे मैंने इस period में दिए थे and 3 lakhs are recorded in the next year. Why? Because that much amount I have paid in the next year. We do not have any concern with the payment, right? Payment कब किया कैसे किया उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. If the income has been earned in this particular period, then the expenses should also be recorded in this particular period only. I hope you all are clear with this particular concept. Let's see. For example, such as salaries, rent, insurance, they are recognized on the basis of period to which they relate and not when these are paid. The matching concept thus implies that all revenues earned during the accounting year, whether received during that year or not, and all costs incurred, whether paid during the year or not, should be taken into account while ascertaining the profit or loss for that particular year. So with this, we have covered a matching concept. Now just wait for 2 minutes. Yes. So next concept that we have is called as the full disclosure concept. What is the full disclosure concept? Full disclosure concept says that all material and all relevant facts should be disclosed into your financial statements. See, when I prepare my financial statements, what all are the documents that I prepare? I prepare profit and loss account. Fine. I prepare balance sheet. I prepare cash flow statement, and there are some few things that cannot be recorded or that cannot be showed in your balance sheet, right? So for all those items along with balance sheet, we have one more document called as the notes to accounts. Under notes to accounts, we try to incorporate all such information that have not been disclosed specifically in the balance sheet. Okay? So these are all what? Part of my financial statement. Full disclosure concept says that you have to disclose all the relevant as well as the material facts. अब आप क्या मुझे बताएंगे कि what is material? How should I recognize that okay, this fact is material, this fact is important? How should I identify that? So it has been said, concept of materiality says that if a particular information can change a decision of any investor, suppose I am an investor and if I would have known that particular information, it could have changed my decision. So hence that particular information is material, not just monetary value. That is the trick over here. Obviously the money value is also a concept, is also a factor of materiality. Suppose there are pens which are for 5 rupees of worth, they are not material. अगर एक पेन खो भी जाता है, even if we misplace a pen, doesn't matter, this is not material. But a furniture or a, let's say, a machinery having a worth of 50 lakhs, अगर उसका एक component खो जाता है, if we misplace a component of such a valuable machinery, let's say 5 lakh rupees worth of component, we have misplaced it, so now that is a material item for us. Okay, so materiality is decided on the basis of monetary value, yes, but at the same time it can also be dependent on just its what you can say, informatory value. Informatory value means if someone is having information about that particular item, then he might change his decision to invest. So this is why materiality concept has to be seen from two angles. So let's come back to the full disclosure principle. Full disclosure principle says that all material and relevant facts concerning financial performance of an enterprise should be fully and completely disclosed into your financial statements. This is your duty. This enables the users. See, there are so many users of financial statement. I have told you, customers, suppliers, government, as well as the other authorities. So because of your full disclosure, they can make the correct assessment of the profitability. Whether you are profitable or not, they can make a correct assessment about it. Next is Companies Act 2013, as well as the regulatory bodies like SEBI. They have also mandated that complete disclosure should be made by the companies. So it is not just the accounting concept, this is also legal responsibility. Companies Act as well as the SEBI regulatory decisions, they both tell you that all full disclosure should be made into your accounting statements. ठीक है, the next concept that we have is called as the consistency concept. Consistency concept क्या कहता है आपको? It says that whatever accounting principles and concepts you are using, please be consistent in their use. Suppose I calculate my depreciation on the basis of written down value method. In the year 2021, I used written down value method. In the year 2022, I am using straight line method. So how can I compare the financial statement of 2021 to 2022? I cannot. कर ही नहीं सकती compare, because why? My method of depreciation is different in both the years. So consistency concept says कि एक ही लगाओ ना, एक ही method लगाओ. Use just one method of depreciation in all the years. This is what consistency principle says. It says all the accounting principles and concepts that you have been using, please use them consistently so that any person who wants to make a comparison, he can make. ठीक है, number one thing. Now number two thing that should come into your mind is that ma'am, कभी कभी तो ऐसा हो सकता है ना कि that we want to change our accounting principle. I do not want to record my transactions or my depreciation on SLM basis. I want to change it in WDV basis. That means the written down value basis. So consistency principle आपको रोकता नहीं है. It doesn't stops you. It says that yes, in some year, if you think that okay, accounting principle needs to be changed, if you think that such principle needs a change, then you can change it, but give the full disclosure that I have changed one accounting principle, and because of this change, this is the monetary impact that has come onto my organization. ठीक है, सो अगर आप कभी चेंज भी करना चाहते हैं अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल अगले साल, तो आप चेंज कर सकते हैं. I'll come on to that. I'm coming on to that. ठीक है, so even if you are changing it, you can do that. Now understand this very nice question, that there might be two different entities, right? And two different entities might be using different kinds of accounting principles. Then how to compare them? So I'll tell you number one thing. In India, accounting the entities of similar nature. Suppose you are a listed entity in India, ठीक है? So the rules and regulation, accounting standards which are applicable onto you are similar. All the entities in India, those suppose your listed entities are there, they prepare their accounts by following the accounting standards. Indian accounting standards, they have been issued. वो standards एकदम rules हैं कि if you are an entity, listed entity, then you should prepare your accounts in this particular format only. There is guidance on inventory as well as your contracts, as well as your revenue, depreciation, property, plant and equipment, or investments, your intangible assets, everything. There is guideline on to each and every item of the balance sheet in the accounting standards. So every entity follows accounting standards, Indian accounting standards, and yes, that is why their accounts are comparable. ठीक है? अगर मैं जैसे दो competing businesses के accounts लूँ, let's say ITC and Britannia, I have picked up accounts of both these entities. Both these entities are following Indian accounting standards. So their formats, their way of representation, it cannot be different. ठीक है? अब जैसे depreciation की बात करें, so it depends on the kind of asset you are using. The Income Tax Act allows only written down value method of depreciation. ठीक है? So automatically every entity will be using WDV method only. Now such problems of comparison, it arises in the case of small entities. वो उनके ऊपर इतना कुछ ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है. They are not bound by anything other than Income Tax Act. So the problem arises in that case, but for bigger entities like listed entities, etc., they follow the same set of accounting standards and hence they are comparable. Now see over here the consistency concept. The accounting information which is provided by financial statements, it would be useful in drawing conclusions regarding the working of enterprises only जब आप एक पीरियड को दूसरे पीरियड से कंपेयर कर सके. ठीक है? Thus both inter-firm and inter-period comparisons are required to be made. This can be possible when accounting policies which are followed, these are consistent over a period of time. And even if, coming back to your question, suppose there are two entities, both of them are following different accounting principles. Let's assume that. So they will give the full disclosure कि because of our following of this accounting principle, this is the financial impact that is there, so that investor can make a calculated decision. ठीक? Like see over here, now an investor wants to know the financial performance of an enterprise in the current year as compared to the previous year. He may compare this year's net profit with the last year, but अगर आपकी accounting policies ही different होंगी, if your accounting policies are different, then the profit figures will not be comparable. ठीक है? So this is why consistency concept says that every year on year you should apply the same accounting principles, even if it is required that it does not prohibits you from changing your accounting principles. If you want to change, then you can change, but you should give the disclosure of probable effects, that what will be the impact if I have changed these particular principles. ठीक है? Fine. Now let's see the next concept that we have, called as the conservatism concept. It is also called as the concept of prudence. So please remember the other name as well. This is conservatism concept, but this is also called as the concept of prudence. So prudence concept or your conservatism concept says that please do not record the profits until they are realized. Until they are realized means until you are very sure that yes, you have earned the profit and now you have a legal right to recover the profits. ठीक है? तब तक आपको कोई प्रॉफिट रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करना है until and unless you are very sure that you have earned the legal right to recover the income. But losses सारे पहले से ही रिकॉर्ड कर लो. अगर आपको जरा सा भी लग रहा है ना, even if you are feeling little bit that this loss can occur. So quickly recognize this. How? I'll tell you the example. You always have seen that there are debtors in the business. I do credit sale in my business. So when I do the credit sale, I have to recover the amount from my customers, right? So I record them as debtors. Now by looking at the previous experiences, I know that out of the total 100 rupees, 5 रुपए तो डूबने वाले हैं. 5 rupees is going to be not recoverable. ठीक है? I expect that this loss is going to happen. So what I do, I make a provision. That provision is called as provision for doubtful debts. Fine. In that I am saying that yes, I am expecting my debtors will not pay me 5 rupees. Out of total 100 rupees, they might not pay me 5 rupees. So your accounts allows this. Account says, your accounting principle says that whatever loss you are thinking that you might incur such loss, please provide for it. Fine. Now there are so many provisions etc that we make. Why do we make it? Because we know that we might have to pay this in future. So you see, concept of conservatism says that profits should not be recorded. ज़्यादा खुश मत हो. अगर आपको ऐसा कोई किसी ने बोला है कि हाँ हाँ हम आपको 10 लाख का प्रॉफिट करवा देंगे, ठीक है, जब तक हो नहीं जाता, जब तक लीगल राइट नहीं मिल जाता, तब तक रिकॉर्ड मत करो. Fine. Lekin if someone says that okay, if there is surety that you might incur a 5 lakh rupees loss, even though you have not incurred it till now, you have to provide a provision for that. This is the concept of conservatism. अब इसके example क्या क्या हैं? Please have a look on to the example. Examples are very very important. Questions can be asked directly. So valuing closing stock at cost or market value, whichever is less. Now suppose my stock, I have prepared it at 10 lakhs, but market value is just 8 lakhs. So the principle says that 10 lakhs or 8 lakhs, whichever is lower, that means I will record at 8 lakhs. Why? Because market value itni kam hai, it means I have incurred a loss of 2 lakhs. When I will be selling this stock, actually I will incur a loss of 2 lakhs. So conservatism says पहले ही record कर लो. Record your closing stock on the basis of cost or market value, whichever is less. That means it shows how much you can recover, उतना ही record करो. Record only that much you can recover from your inventory or your stock. Next is provision for doubtful debts, discount on debtors, writing off intangible assets, etc. All these are done because all such kinds of losses we recorded early on in my books. ठीक है? So this was called as the conservatism principle, also known as the prudence concept. Now we have 2 more concepts left, but we'll be doing this tomorrow with the other things that we have to do. This is I'll keep only this much in this particular class. I hope that you will give us a like on this particular video, and thank you so much for joining in.